Hi everybody,
Hello.
and welcome back to our YouTube channel. We are, as always, your hosts Arne and Carlos, and today we are going to be talking about jogless stripes. You are going to find out a little bit about what we think about this, and we're going to give you some tips on doing jogless stripes. Yes. But before we start with that, we want to encourage you to subscribe to our YouTube channel if you're not doing that. And if you like our tutorials, please give us a big thumbs up. And we're also going to talk a little bit about knitting needles today.
Yes.
We've had a lot of questions throughout the years. What are your favorite knitting needles? What kind of knitting needles do you like to use? And so on. And we've been pondering on that question for a very long time. We've been traveling the world looking for the best knitting needles, at least the best for us. Mm-hmm. And finally last year, Arne, when we were at the H&H, we found them.
The good thing is that they're white. Because like when you're getting older, like we are, and you knit with dark colors in the night, it's kind of hard to see the yarn on the needles. Mm-hmm. But with the white needle, it's much easier.
Yes.
Especially for you have this dark yarn.
Yeah, exactly. And then another great thing about that is that because we do all these visual video tutorials with a lot of close-ups, we will be using these needles often, and it will also be easier for the viewer to see what we're doing even better. But anyway, Arne, it is really exciting. I love the packaging and I love the needles themselves. So why don't we just take each one a pack and unbox them? I'm going to be unboxing the 60 centimeter circular needle in size 3 millimeters.
I have the 3.5.
Also 60. Yeah.
This is what people do on YouTube.
Yeah.
We're on YouTube.
Yeah.
So actually we're doing what people are doing on YouTube.
Exactly.
But they're unboxing like light dolls and bags.
And instead we are unboxing needles from Prim, ergonomic needles, and our absolute favorite needles right now.
And you know, the good thing is that like people say when they see how we knit the Norwegian way, they say that's also what they call ergonomic knitting. Mm-hmm. So now we can do the Norwegian knitting, which is ergonomic knitting with
ergonomic needles, which is fantastic.
Can't be better.
So
what I really like is that the point has this little ball. So especially when you knit like we do, when you pick from the finger like this, sometimes you pull it with the pointing finger, and it doesn't hurt.
Exactly.
Because you have this little ball. And also when you pick from the finger like this, if you do like socks with very thin needles, this needle is always scratching the point of your finger. Mm-hmm. Sometimes it gets it hurts. You can get hole in your finger if you knit a lot. But with this one, it's actually softer.
Yeah, it's really cool because the needle itself is quite flexible.
Yeah.
And then it's triangular shaped, and it goes from a triangle into this round tip. And it actually means that everything slides nicely off, right? And it's easy to pick up the stitches from the other side, and it's you avoid all those split yarn. The yarn doesn't split because there's no...
It can split, but not much.
Not much, no.
Not much.
And then the circular needle has another thing that we really like, and it's this metal cord. It's a metal cord that has memory, so you won't get that issue where it all kind of gets, you can't even do it here, but when it kind of intertwines itself and makes a big mess out of it, doesn't happen because you've got a metal cord. So metal cord, composite material, which is very flexible and nice to hold. Great triangular shape, round tips. It's very comfortable to wear or to hold in your hands. Very comfortable to hold in your hands. And because the needles are white, it's easy to see what you're doing, especially if you have problems with your eyesight, or in our case, when we want to showcase videos and tutorials, it will be so much easier for us now working with these really cool needles.
Well, I do white on white, but
but it's still okay.
Still okay, but they're really good.
Yeah. So anyway, if you're wondering now what our favorite needle is at the moment, it's a Prim ergonomic needle. Really loving it.
What's it called in America? It's another name.
No, it's Prim in America as well. Prim is a German company. It's the oldest company in Europe. We found out when we were there visiting them. And I mean, It's a German product, and you can kind of put it, compare it to a lot of great German design, very, very high tech, but minimalist and perfect. It's got all those things that you really need. They get rid of all the things you don't need. It's kind of like a Porsche, in my opinion.
Porsche, yeah.
It's the equivalent of the Porsche needles.
But the best thing is that they have these sock needles.
Oh yeah.
Like you get 5 needles, and like they're 2.5 millimeter, and they are really good, and they're not slippery, because sometimes if you use metal, it's kind of slippery. But this one is not slippery.
Yeah, so we'll be working on the sock needles as well. Anyway, this was a little portion about our favorite needles. Now, Arne, let's go into the jogless stripe.
The jogless stripe.
I'm sure that this is something that a lot of people want to know, how to do jogless stripes. And I want to explain the problem. So the problem is people knitting on the round. When you knit on the round, you will always have a stitch that is out of place.
It's like
the beginning and the end of that row will always have a stitch which will be higher than the other. So if you're knitting patterns, like if you're doing a Fair Isle or a Norwegian colorwork design on the round, or if you're doing stripes, you will have a break in the pattern in the beginning and the end, which means that there will be a distortion.
You can see it on this one.
Yeah.
Or you can hardly see it, but it's a break. It's like, you see, it's like this.
Yeah.
But it's not a big problem,
No.
I think, because now I have to pull it to show it.
Yeah. So anyway, a lot of people want to know how to avoid that break in the pattern. We want to say a little bit about how we feel about this, because for us, honestly, if people say, show us how to knit a jogless stripe, or how do you avoid getting that break in the pattern, our immediate answer is we really don't care.
No.
It's not a problem. If you consider sewed clothes that have been sewn, I mean, look at my shirt. I have a seam here. I have a seam on the side, which has a break in the pattern. I have a seam on the other side with the same thing. I can totally live with it. I love the fact that the pattern in the pocket is matching the pattern in the fabric.
Haute couture.
This is
not in the side. It's not haute couture.
No, but anyway, it's a seam.
But who cares?
It's a seam and it's fine. It works. Nobody sees it because it's on the side.
Yeah.
So if we have a break, if we're doing a Fair Isle or a Norwegian colorwork design, if we're going to steek it, we'll obviously steek it in the place where you have the disjoint.
Especially if it's stripes. It's kind of logic, then you will stick it where you change color.
If we have a sweater that we've knitted on the round, we will probably put the part which is the beginning and the end, we're going to put it on the side and call it a seam. Again, you won't see it because it's going to be under your arm.
It's under the arm. If not, you have to walk around like this. Just look.
Exactly. Yeah. If we have a hat, we will probably put a label, an ARNE CARLOS label in the hat, and then we will make sure to always wear it with a break in the pattern on the back here, like that. Again, it's kind of like a seam.
Yeah.
We honestly don't care about jogless stripes, really. And we think that a lot of times when people are doing their crafts, they're being too hard on themselves. They are striving for perfectionism, and they're doing everything they can to kind of put themselves down as being not good enough. And I say that it's all good enough. Just think of it as a seam, and you're fine.
Yeah, and kind of like.
And don't put too much pressure on yourself because there's a lot of stuff going on in the world that is hard. So why should knitting be hard? But anyway, if you want to have that jogless stripe, we are going to give you a tip on how you can achieve it.
But first I want to show you this one. This is a UFO. You just have to sew in the loose ends with stripes and rib.
It's a cowl.
It's a cowl. And it's kind of hard to see if I didn't have these ends. It's kind of hard to see where it starts and begins. So like when you do ribbing with stripes, I really don't think it's a problem.
No.
You see, if I take out the black yarn, this is my stitch markers. You see, it's not a big problem. You think that's a problem?
No, I don't think.
No.
But then I don't care.
It's not a problem. So, but if you look at this, on this one, I have 4 rounds of each color. I know that a lot of people, when they go from one color to the other, they just skip a stitch. I think they do. They slip a stitch without knitting it, and then they just go on. But then you have actually 3 stitches where you should have 4. In my mind, if you skip a lot of stitches on many rounds, you get a tighter line on that side, because you lose stitches every time you
in fact,
slip.
So if you compare that to a seam, okay, so if you don't do it, you get that disjoint in the beginning and the end where you see clearly the line going up. If you do that particular technique, it will stretch, it will tighten up, and you'll still get kind of like a seam. It will be the equivalent, because the stitches will probably be tighter and smaller.
So
and
you
will
lose a stitch, so it's kind of just another seam with a straight line. And the other way is like also sometimes I've seen people skip it, but they move it, and then you get like a shadow going over like this. You get a straight line, but then you get a shadow going across your breast or something. And sometimes also when you start, if you do one color, like if it's only 2 colors, and the next time you change color, I also know that then when you bring this white yarn up, if you use the white the next time, you actually pull, if you see, you pull the tail. So you're losing a stitch again because you're pulling it. So what we do is, first of all, normally we don't do anything, but if you look,
we were going to do it.
If we should do it, if you look at these lines now, if you pull it a little bit so you see that they are like this. Now you see is it jogs or
jogless?
Jogless? No,
jogs.
Is it the jumping? So when if you squeeze this a little bit down when you sew your ends, then you avoid a lot of it, and you don't lose any stitch. If you see on the red, just pull them so they go together like this, and then you sew the tail on the back.
It's as easy as that.
It's not harder. You can do it, instead of thinking about the stripe every time you knit, just leave it until you sew the tails, the ends.
Yes, and then put it together.
And then you can place them nicely next to each other if you think it's a problem. And then you sew this one on the opposite side, and then the white one will come on the other side, and it's gone.
Perfect. So it is actually pretty easy.
It's easy, and you still have 4 stitches. You're not losing anything.
And in the end of the day, I mean, this way at least, Arne, because you are going to have to sew the loose ends anyway, whether you like it or not, because you're doing stripes and you're changing colors. It's going to be there. So if you're going to sew the loose ends anyway, why not do it that way and then get rid of the jog if you want to?
If you want to get rid of it. And like for a sleeve, you will always have the stripe under your arm, and you're not walking around like this just to show off your
armpits
or your not matching stripes. Or normally like when you do a sweater, where you start and end the rounds, that is normally the side. So it will be under your arm, and I don't think it's a problem.
Cool. So, I mean, to just sum this up, what we recommend in terms of those jogs, or whatever you call them, when the stitches are going on the round and going one up like that, relax, enjoy your knitting. It's not the end of the world. If you want to have jogless stripes, sew the loose ends in the end.
Fix it with the loose ends.
And you're fine. Remember your ergonomics as well. It's very important to relax. We've done a few tutorials on knitting and purling the Norwegian way, which turns out to be a rather comfortable way for a lot of people. And now that we have these really cool needles from Prim, we will be getting even better when it comes to ergonomics, for sure.
Yes.
So I think we're just going to continue to knit away. We look forward to coming back with more tutorials every Sunday at 6 p.m. Central European time. And also I want to add that the best way to follow us and make sure that you are 100% up to date is to subscribe to our YouTube channel and also to go to our website at arnecarlos.com and subscribe to our mailing list. Okay, and finally, Arne, are we gonna be able to post a pattern for the people who may want to purchase the cowl pattern?
Yeah, we can do that. We can do one with the rib and the stockinette, so people can actually practice how to get rid of the
jog,
or what it is. If it's jogless, then it's gone, I guess.
Yeah, so it's a jog.
It's probably a jog.
Yeah.
So you can practice how to get rid of the jog without pulling or anything, just sew the end.
So we'll do a pattern for that, and then we can also
we can also do one where you can do it with the rib.
With the rib all the way.
And then you don't have to think about the jog because you can't see it hardly.
So 2 super easy patterns that we will be posting on our website, arnecarlos.com. We're in the middle of a lot of refurbishments around us. So at the moment right now, I'm not sure whether it's going to be posted on the blog or whether it's going to be posted on the shop, which is coming soon. But anyway, blog or shop, you will be able to find some patterns for the cowls on our website.
Yes.
So, with all that we have explained today, I think it's time to say goodbye. And thank you so much for watching. And we look forward to bringing you new tutorials again next week. Bye.